On December 21st, 1986, the Detroit Lions closed out their season at the Silverdome. 16 weeks before, there had been great expectations. But this same Lions team that was in playoff contention for most of the year before barely threatened to reach the break-even point in '86. High hopes gave way to hard times. But it is those hard times that build the character that builds a winner. As new faces meshed with the old guard, there was, at times, a certain lack of cohesion, and a season of promise became a painful one. The season saw many outstanding individual performances overshadowed by a series of narrow losses. But despite their 5-11 record, the Lions were clearly an improving team. 7 losses were by a touchdown or less, 5 by less than 4 points. In retrospect, it could be said that this edition of the Detroit Lions was just 30 points short of a possible 11-5 season and a wild card berth in the playoffs. In 1986, the Lions averaged more total yards a game, more rushing yards, and more first downs. Team leaders like fullback James Jones displayed their usual consistency. Adding power and versatility to the Lions' backfield was Gary James, whose 900 total yards earned him a place on the NFL All-Rookie team. The road to success can take many detours, and the detours in '86 were those narrow losses, those games whose outcomes hung on a slender thread, those close encounters that sealed the Lions' fate. But from them, the Lions gained strength and a positive outlook for 1987.
Everyone, and welcome to another season of Detroit Lions football. Today, live from the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's the season opener between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. And this opener features quite a matchup. Both teams really tried to improve defensively.
Against Minnesota, the Lions' overall aggressiveness limited the explosive Vikings to just 62 yards on the ground and a single touchdown. Veteran quarterback Bruce McNorton's interception keyed a pass defense rated the NFL's 4th best, while a healthy offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage. Lomas Brown, Keith Dorney, Chris Dietrich, Steve Mott, and Rich Strenger paved the way for fullback James Jones.
Gets the grain to the right. He's in the car at the 40, 35, 30. Chased from behind by Isaac Holden, Joey Browner, and hauled down at the Viking 13. Second and goal from the 2. Everybody in tight. Handoff. James Jones over the top. Left side. Dives in. Touchdown, Detroit.
Jones rushed for a personal best 174 yards in the Lions' first close encounter, a 13-10 win, and he was named the NFL's Offensive Player of the Week. James Jones' vast and versatile talents include blocking, and number 30 helped introduce rookie running back Gary James to the NFL. The Lions' second-round draft pick in '86, James did not make an immediate impact. Instead, he gradually gave every indication that his transition from college to the pros would be a smooth one. However, in the home opener against the Dallas Cowboys, James' flash and dash could not spell victory, as 3 Lions turnovers put Detroit down for the count, 31-7. Another new face surfaced the following week when Tampa Bay visited the Silverdome. Free agent Herman Hunter, number 36, was acquired in the season's first week and went on to establish a team record for most return yardage. Running back Scott Williams and Alvin Moore, number 24, helped the Lions outgain the Bucks by 125 total yards, and James Jones scored a pair of touchdowns. But the Bucks scored 17 of their 24 points after turnovers, and the Lions endured a second loss, this time by 24-10. Another close encounter followed. In Cleveland, Eric Hipple completed a team record 33 passes for 3 touchdowns, and Detroit controlled the ball for more than 40 minutes. Yet the Lions fell just short again by 3 points. The frustration of those 3 straight losses failed to douse the Lions' competitive fire as they torched the Oilers at home in Week 5. The Lions' leading tackler, strong safety Demetrius Johnson, spearheaded a defense that forced 4 turnovers and allowed just 1 touchdown. It was, in the best tradition of the cliche, a team effort. James Jones' dogged running was responsible for time-consuming drives, and newcomer Herman Hunter worked his way onto the receiving end of his first touchdown as a Detroit Lion. With each game, the rookie Gary James showed a marked improvement, and he combined with James Jones to give Detroit the most promising backfield tandem that Lions fans have seen in years. 2 Jones touchdowns highlighted the Lions' lone home victory. The next week in Green Bay, Keith Dorney returned to the lineup after knee surgery and led an assault against the Packers that featured Gary James, who shredded the Green Bay defense for 140 yards in the 21-14 win.
And he's hemmed in. Leaps over a man. Cuts back against the grain. He's in the loose. 30, 25, 20. Lee hits him from behind at the 5, but Gary James goes in for a touchdown.
Who is this kid?
What a run by Gary James. That is his first professional touchdown on a 41-yard burst.
The Lions' Den headed west for the first of 2 pivotal road games. The first, a showdown with the Los Angeles Rams. Down by a pair of touchdowns in the first period, the Detroit defense did not allow a point the rest of the way. The Lions scratched to within 3 points when Eric Hipple connected with Jeff Chadwick for a fourth-quarter touchdown. But it was a third-period play that hurt the Lions the most. Detroit drove the length of the field, only to fumble at the Rams' goal line. The Lions' comeback hopes disappeared in a cloud of disgust. And once again, on the threshold of victory, the Lions came up on the short end of yet another close encounter, 14-10. A 16-game season is like a marathon. Halfway through the race, you need a second win. And when the Lions arrived in Chicago, they appeared to be gaining just that. On the banks of Lake Michigan, a maturing Detroit defense played its own special brand of waterfront defense. Vernon Maxwell, Mike Cofer, James Harrell, Shelton Robinson, Donnie Elder, Jimmy Williams, and the rest of the Lions defenders held the Bears to no offensive touchdowns at Soldier Field for the first time since 1982. Youthful aggressiveness from first-year men like Dwayne Galloway, Paul Butcher, and Devon Mitchell, number 31, held the world champion Bears to just 76 yards on the ground. They had played their best against the best, only to fall short in close encounter number 6, 13-7. Since becoming the Lions' number 7 draft pick in 1980, Eddie Murray has been one of the NFL's most consistent kickers and an active fundraiser for the Multiple Sclerosis Society. Murray's field goals have raised over $15,000 for MS, and on November 2nd, His extra point against the Cincinnati Bengals made him the Lions' all-time leading scorer. Despite Murray's record-breaking kick, the Lions lost by 7 points or less for the 5th time in 9 games. Wasted were 2 Eric Hipple touchdown passes, one to Jimmy Giles, who came on board in October as a free agent. A 4-time Pro Bowl tight end, Giles' touchdown reception was the Lions' only score in a loss to Minnesota. Giles has upgraded a receiving corps that includes tight ends David Lewis and Rob Rubik. 2 third-year men matured as wide receivers in 1986. Carl Bland, number 80, emerged as the Lions' 3rd leading pass catcher with 44 receptions. And Pete Manley, number 82, once again did double duty as a return specialist and at wide receiver. Manley, Bland, and the rest of the Lions receiving corps all will benefit from the experience of Jimmy Giles, the free agent who could have gone anywhere, but he chose Detroit. Four years ago, the Lions found a gem of a receiver right in their own backyard when they signed a free agent named Jeff Chadwick out of Dearborn, Michigan and Grand Valley State. Possibly, the only thing that has stood between Chadwick and the Pro Bowl is injuries. He's battled them since becoming a Lion. But in 1986, Jeff Chadwick joined the ranks of the best as the Lions' leading receiver with 53 catches for just under 1,000 yards, an average of almost 19 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns. All season, Chadwick and Eric Hipple served as co-chairman of the 65 Roses Club, which benefits the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Jeff pledged $50 for each of his pass receptions, and at season's end, he donated $2,650 to help fight cystic fibrosis. In a Week 11 matchup in Philadelphia, the Lions arrived with a 4-game losing streak. But that came to an abrupt end when the Lions' defense attacked the Eagles with a vengeance. Quarterback Joe Ferguson took over for the injured Eric Hipple and responded with a couple of bombs to the Lions' resident game breaker. Jeff Chadwick turned in a season-high 139 yards receiving. Tight end Jimmy Giles on the right. Ferguson calling the signals. Gets the snap. Ferguson unloads it deep to Chadwick, left sideline, and he is behind Cooper, and he is off to the races. Down to the 15, the 10, the 5. It is a touchdown for Jeff Chadwick of 73 yards. In the face of the Lions' pass rush, the Eagles flew like so many songbirds into a cloud of DDT. As a unit, Detroit forced 4 Philadelphia turnovers, tied a team record with 11 sacks, and held the Eagles to a season low of 65 yards passing. But despite the defensive heroics, the Lions still found themselves behind by a point with 17 seconds left. Enter Eddie Murray.
17 seconds left. Eagles lead 11-10. Here's the snap. Place down. Murray's kick is on the way. He thinks it's good, and so do the officials. And with 12 seconds to go, the Lions have taken the lead over the Eagles, 13-11. I guess it's poetic justice when all is said and done, because the Lions' defense does not deserve to lose a football game today.
A southern trip to Tampa Bay helped heat up the Lions' offense in Week 12. Joe Ferguson started and won his second straight game as Detroit rolled up 393 total yards, their highest output of the season.
Back Ferguson, a quick 2-step, lofts it up, right corner of the end zone. Chadwick beats McKeever and hauls it in for a touchdown.
Speaking for the defense, Keith Ferguson showcased the pass rushing skills that made him the Lions' Defensive Player of the Year. Throughout the afternoon, the Lions continued to pound the Bucs, on the ground and through the air.
Thompson beats the rookie Rod Jones, hauls it in for a Detroit touchdown. Here's a draw play. Gary James cutting to his left is hit by Holmes, but breaks the tackle, goes down to the 5, breaks another tackle, then goes into the end zone for a touchdown. A great tackle busting.
In the final period, head coach Darryl Rogers chose to test the Lions' most heralded rookie, their first-round pick, quarterback Chuck Long. Long had yet to see action as he spent the first 11 weeks of 1986 learning the Lions system. He apparently learned quite a bit.
Play action fake, and back goes Long. He's going deep for Leonard Thompson. He goes up, he's got it! A touchdown for Leonard Thompson, and Chuck Long on his first professional pass throws a 34-yard touchdown. How about that?
How about that?
You only get one chance to make a great first impression, and Chuck Long did just that. The Lions returned home for Thanksgiving on the heels of a 2-game winning streak, and they were welcomed by more than 60,000 fans. Lions faithful of all ages came to witness the traditional matchup against the Green Bay Packers.
Back goes Ferguson, 4-man rush coming, steps up in the pocket, lofts it in the end zone, Chadwick under the goalpost, has a touchdown, Detroit.
What would become one of the most entertaining games of the year. The defense did their part as Eric Williams, Keith Ferguson, Mike Cofer, James Harrell, Dwayne Galloway, and others ganged up on Green Bay and held the visitors to just 95 yards on the ground.
Back is Ferguson, blitz coming, Lions pick it up, he's going in the end zone, Charles open, touchdown Detroit! Backs in the power left, James and Jones, Ferguson back to throw, standing in there, looks at the goal line, fires to Bland, he fights off Mark Lee and hauls it in for a touchdown! Great catch by Carl Bland at the goal line.
The Lions surged ahead by 10 points with 5 minutes to play. But then, disaster struck. After the Packers closed the gap to 40-37, the Lions punted from their own 37-yard line.
Arnold kicks it away, and look at this beauty. Hangs it up there to Stanley at the 17. He looks up, there are 7 Lions. He spins around and cuts to his right. He's in the clear. He's going to go all the way. I don't believe it.
It was the heartbreak of '86 and marked the 37th time in team history the Lions have scored 40 or more points. But it was the first time they had scored that many and lost. The remainder of the season saw the young and the old make their mark. Quarterback Joe Ferguson jumped ahead of Otto Graham, Terry Bradshaw, Ken Stabler, and Len Dawson in total passing yards. And against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ferguson threw his 190th career touchdown pass. As Ferguson was closing out his 14th NFL season, Gary James continued to make an indelible impression in his first one. James' 60-yard scoring run was a masterpiece, but the 10-point loss was not. 8 days later, on Monday, December 16th, a sellout crowd, along with a national television audience, watched the Lions give the defending world champion Bears one of their toughest battles of the season.
Placed down by Hipple, the kick from 39 on its way, and it is good. The Lions have taken the lead over the Bears by a score of 6-3.
But the man who gave the Lions their biggest lift was Chuck Long. Starting his first NFL game, it was Long's poise against the league's #1 defense that gave Detroit their biggest lead of the night.
Long back to throw. Lofts it up, left corner, Leonard Thompson. Behind the rookie, Rusty Jackson. Touchdown, Detroit!
But in yet another close encounter, the Lions lost on the last play of the game by a field goal. The lone high point in the season finale against Atlanta occurred when return man Pete Mandley fielded a Falcon punt at his own 19-yard line and took it back 81 yards for the Lions' only touchdown in the 26 loss. As the curtain closed on the '86 season, the Lions improved themselves in many areas, and those who observed this team from start to finish could clearly see that the future of this team lies in its youth. Not one, but two Detroit players were named to the NFL's All-Rookie team. One was free safety Devon Mitchell, number 31, who would finish the season as the Lions' leading interceptor and the team's fifth leading tackler. Mitchell joins first-year cornerback Dwayne Galloway, number 40, who became a starter and finished just behind Mitchell in both tackles and interceptions. And Paul Butcher from Dearborn and Wayne State was voted by his teammates as the special teams MVP. The biggest impact was provided by another all-rookie team member, running back Gary James. It takes a team of tacklers to bring him down. But even at 215 pounds, James possesses drag strip speed, and he can shift gears and handle in traffic as well as anyone. Number 32 gained close to 700 yards and combined with James Jones in a working man's backfield to total almost 1,600 yards on the ground. Simply said, Gary James is a raging bull of a runner who can turn a defense into a china shop. There is one thing that gives radiance to everything, and that is the idea of something promising just around the corner. And as the Lions make the turn into a new year, there is plenty of optimism. The close encounters of 1986 have made them a closer team, a team that promises to be back near the top throughout the remainder of the decade.